We're Yud Bezim and Bez, we're 12b, about 10 lines from the bottom. Try to get through the next part a little bit quickly so we can get to Daf Yomi. So we're still in this discussion about what Chizkiah did wrong, to which he asked Hashem to forgive him. So Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda Omer, Mishum Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon, the son of Yehuda, standing in the name of Rabbi Shimon. He gave the Jews advice to make a Pesach Sheni. To go and make Pesach Sheni. So now says the Gemara, we know that if most of the Jews are impure, so then you don't do Pesach Sheni. You do Pesach Rishon, the first Pesach. So what was the case exactly? And what did he think? And where did he go wrong? Heichi Dami, what's the case? Amr of Ashik, it was like this. The Jews were half of the Jews were impure, and half of the Jews were pure. Now, women, if they're part of the count here, is two opinions. So now, V'nashim, they were mostly pure, right? Usually women stay out of trouble, right? V'nashim mashlimos litahorim. The nashim who were pure, when they were part of the calculation, they were part of you added them in. Now you had way more pure people than you had impure people. V'ot fos alehem. They added on to the pure people, and now it was uneven. Now most Jews were pure, only a minority were impure, and because of that, they had to do Pesach Sheni. So now, mi'ikara savar nashim rishon chova. At first, he thought that nashim, in terms of their obligation to be part of the Pesach sacrifice, they're obligated, and therefore we took them as part of the count, and therefore only a minority of the Jewish people were tamei umiyutan mitchul Pesach Sheni, and a minority of them got pushed away till Pesach Sheni. Ulebesof savar, and at the end, why did he ask Hashem for him to do tshuva? Savar nashim barishon rishos. It's rishos. It's not obligatory to bring that first Pesach sacrifice. It's optional. So therefore, they're not part of the count. Since they're not part of the count, good morning, Steve. Since they're not part of the count, so now the impure Jews were back to being the majority. To havilat lahu tmeim ruba, v'ruba lo mitchul Pesach Sheni. And when the majority of Jews are impure, you don't push off to Pesach Sheni. You do Pesach Rishon, even in an impure state, which relates to what we spoke about yesterday, when you say this idea that when the majority of the Jewish people are impure, so you can bring the Pesach sacrifice, either because it's called Tumah Hutra B'tzibor, it's the Torah never prohibited in such cases, or it's called Tumah Dechuya B'tzibor, where it's we push away the prohibition. But either way, when they're in an impure state, they could bring Pesach Rishon. Okay, we're bottom of Yud Beis Amud Beis, 7-8 lines with 2 dots. So now, okay, so Gufa, back to our original brisa. Amar Shmuel, Ein Ma'avrin es Hashana b'yom shloshim shel Adar. Said Shmuel, this idea that the 30th of Adar really is fitting to be Nisan. It's fitting to be the first day of Nisan. Since it's fitting to be the first day of Nisan, it has the halacha of that you cannot on that day add a leap year. You can't make that let's say Adar Sheni start then, because it's really fitting to be Nisan. Okay, so now Ibruhu Mai. What if they did do it? They weren't supposed to, but they did. Ibruhu Mai. So now they went and they made day 30, and on that day they decided they're going to add a month to the year. So Amar Ula said, Ein mekachin es chodesh. Ula says on day 30, you don't say today is Mekudosh for Adar Sheni. What do? Since that day is supposed to be really Nisan, you don't make day 30. Oh, today's gonna be the first day of Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni. Rather, you're just quiet, and then when the first day of Adar Sheni comes, it comes. But you don't go out of your way to say today's day 1 of Adar Sheni, because once again we had this halacha earlier that HaChodesh is Elachem, Ze Nisan, Ve'ein Acher Nisan. This month is Nisan, and nothing else should be Nisan. Therefore, that day which is fitting to be Nisan, we make it 30 days to work out the calculations, but it's really a day that's fitting to be Nisan. Therefore, we don't go and so to speak slap it in the face and say today's Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni. So Ula says Ein Mekachas Chodesh. Says the Gemara Kitshumai. Let's say you did do it. What happens? So now Amarava Batel Ha'ibur. Rava says Batel Ha'ibur. If you go and you Mekadesh that day as Adar Sheni, so then Batel Ha'ibur. Now, I didn't understand how they translate Batel Ha'ibur. You can help me out. You're making day 30 Adar Sheni, Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni, when you weren't supposed to. And on that we say, we totally take it back. It's null and void. It's Batel Ha'ibur. I got a little bit stuck on this. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, what happens is their calculation is totally ineffective. If they go against this principle that you can't make day 30, day 1, so then it's that strong of a rule that is totally not effective. Rav Nachman Amar Ma'ubar Mekudesh says no. If you day 30 you add a month, or day 30 you make day 1 of Adar Sheni, even though you weren't supposed to, it's still going to be good. It's going to be it will be a leap year, and that day will be the beginning of Adar Sheni. Apparently, it's not a violation of that rule. That even though it's fitting to be Nisan, but at the end of the day, it still works if you ended up doing it. Okay. So now, Amr le Rav le Rav Nachman. Let's see. Michti. Mipuria lepischa. Yeah, put Mipuria lepischa from Purim to Pesach is what? Tlatin Yomin is 30 days. Havu. So now, there's a halacha, which actually the source is, interestingly enough, Pesach Sheni, and it applies to numerous other holidays. You're supposed to learn the halachas of that holiday 30 days beforehand. So now, michti mipuria lepischa tlatin yomin havu. And what happens? Umipuria darshinan behilchos Pesach. On Purim, you're supposed to start learning the halachas of Pesach because it's 30 days beforehand. How do I know the Tanya Shalom behilchos Pesach? Kodem Pesach shloshim yom. We're supposed to ask, meaning teach, ask, and learn about hilchos Pesach 30 days before the holiday. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, he says no. Parenthetically, it's only 2 weeks beforehand is enough. Interesting. Pesach has the most halachas. I guess 2 weeks is enough to know. So, what did you say?
But you're not building a sukkah.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not building a sukkah. So, what's going to happen now? So they're going to start learning Pesach already by Purim time, and now you're going to go and you're going to make day 30. Right, we're asking Rav Nachman. Yeah, you're going to make day 30 now. You're going to add a month to the year on the 30th day of Adar. So you're already 2 weeks in, deep into Hilchos Pesach. What's going to happen? If on the beginning of the month you're going to push it off another month, they're going to say, it can't be. They're not going to believe that. They're not going to believe that this is happening, and they're going to continue with their program. And 2 weeks later, they're going to celebrate Pesach, even though in reality it's Adar Sheni. And then a month later, when it's really Pesach, they're going to be eating chametz. So that's the question of Nachman. How do you allow day 30 to become Adar Sheni, or you allow us to add a month to the year so far into Adar Rishon? That's going to cause a tremendous problem. It's going to cause chametz eating or owning. So he says, no. Amar le, maybe a dia the shasa ma'abarta b'chushvana talia milsa. Everybody knows that to calculate and add a month to the year is not a simple process. It takes a lot of calculation. So therefore, what's going to happen? They're going to say, Amri if on day 30 we add a month to the year, they're not going to believe us. They're going to assume, listen, it was a very long calculation process. It took this long, and on day 30 they decided, and therefore they are. So there's basically, the question was, we assume people are not going to believe that it's going to be a leap year. To which he answers that such a concern I'm not so concerned about. People know that it takes a long time, and therefore I'm not worried about that, and therefore he allows day 30 to be the beginning of to either be the beginning of Adar Sheni or to add a year. Amar Rav Yudam Shmuel Ein Ma'aber Nesashana Alim Kain Haisa Tekufa Chasera Ruba Shel Chodesh. Okay, for the next amud and a half, if you're a mathematician calendar guy, then you hit the jackpot. So, and if you want, you're able to help me out. So, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. So, like this. There are 4 seasons, 4 seasons of the year. Each season is about 91 and a little bit days, right? So this is where Tekufa, seasons, is one of the reasons why we make it a leap year, because when we go after the seasons, so we call it, fall and winter, spring and summer, but they called it Tekufas Tishrei and Tekufas Nisan. Each one's about 91 days, so you get about 3 months, and that goes after the solar year. And we know that our months go after the lunar year. So you're going to have 11 days of a discrepancy. And now we're going to talk about that we're going to need, at least for the next Amud, we're going to need Tishrei. There's going to be a discussion about the month of Tishrei. That it has to fall at a certain time. So we're going to mention the words Tekufas Tishrei. Tekufas Tishrei doesn't mean the month of Tishrei. It means when the summer season is over and the next season begins. We're going to need that season to fall out. I'll see in a second, at a certain time of the month of Tishrei. So let's see. So Amar Rav Shmuel Ein Ma'aber Nesashana Ela Im Kein Haisa Tekufa Chasera Ruba Shel Chodesh. The Kama Ruba Shel Chodesh Shisha Asar Yom Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. So now, Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel that this idea that we add a month to the year for Tekufa, that's only if we know that there's going to be lacking in the Tekufa Rubo Shel Chodesh. What's Rubo Shel Chodesh? 16 days. So what's going to happen? You're going to go through the month of Tishrei. It's still going to be the summer season. We'll call it the summer season, the Zman Kaitz, right? And only if that's going to be, if it's going to continue through 16 days of Tishrei, then we have to add a month. We're going to see why in a second. But we need that the 16th day of Tishrei, which is the first day of Chol HaMoed, we're looking at the first day of Chol HaMoed should fall out in the new season.
Kufa mean what we would say like September 21st?
The equinox?
The equinox? Or it doesn't? There's some other border.
I think some other border. The article has all these charts. If you have an article, it's going to be helpful. I didn't have one preparing, so, but they have all these. They have all these charts over here. But basically, Tekufa, there's I think it's a Gemara, Rosh Hashanah. It goes through when the Tekufa starts, when the Tekufa ends. But it's 91 days and I think 7 hours, something like that. Okay, so now, if we cannot have that the 16th of Tishrei fall out on the old season, in the summer season, we'll call it, we need the 16th of Tishrei to fall out on what we call, let's say, the fall season. So that's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yossi Omer on the next page, Echad ve'esrim yom. He holds that if he needs that the 21st day fall out on the new season, not on the summer season, but in the fall season. So Rabbi Yehuda needs the 16th to fall out on the new season, and Rabbi Yehuda needs the 21st to fall out on the new season. If it would fall out on the 22nd, then he says you have to add a year. You have to add a month. So now, what is the rationale of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi? Like this: V'shnehem mikra echad darshan. They both darshan one pasuk. It says Chag HaAsif, the Kufas Hashana. Chag HaAsif. So Chag HaAsif is the holiday of gathering. Now it's interesting. We're learning out that when is Chag HaAsif refers to Sukkot. When can you gather your fruits from the field? You can't do it on the first day of Sukkot. That's Asr. You can only do it on the first day of Chol HaMoed. So we need that the first day of Chol HaMoed, when you can actually gather, fall out in that period of time, not the Kufas Hashana of gathering, which is after the summer.
It's how you make after you gather the.
Okay. So Baruch Hashem, you came to Portland. So now, this is your Amud Yossi. This is all calculations, months, long Rashi's, little Adu Rosh, little this.
That was all in Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, this is for you. So, but don't listen to me because I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But Chag Asif is Tekufas Hashana. So now Chag Asif is Tekufas Hashana. You have to have that you can gather the first day of Chol Hamoed. You have to be able to gather. So now that's what they hold. Now Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi. Do you need the whole Chol Hamoed to be able to gather, or you need at least one day of Chol Hamoed to be able to gather? So Mar Savar Kule Chag Be'inan, and therefore, if the 16th day of Tishrei, which is the first day of Chol Hamoed, falls out on the summer season, then we have to add a month. Reb Yossi holds that what? He needs at least one day Chol Hamoed falls out in the new season, and you're good to go. So now, Mar Savar Kule Chag Be'inan B'Tkufa Chadasha, Mar Savar Miktas Chag Be'inan B'Tkufa Chadasha. So now, that's step one. Step two. Now, there's a very long Rashi here, which is bothered by, if you're worried about one day, just add a day to the previous month. Why can't you do that? Just instead of making the month chasser, just make it male, and then you're going to be good to go. Ayin Sham. But so now,
It's true. Elul always has 29.
right? So he said just add a day. So lo adu rosh Hashanah can't fall out on a Sunday, Wednesday, or Friday. That whole thing, he gets involved in the whole thing. Yeah. If you're flying back to the East Coast, you have a long Rashi to go through on the airplane. Okay, so now, Mai Kasavar. What are you, now, when they say Yom Tekufa falls out, what does it mean Yom Tekufa? Is Yom Tekufa, when you say those words, it refers to the last day of the previous season, or it's the first day of the new season? What is Yom Tekufa? So now, Mai Kasavar, Ikasavar Yom Tekufa, Gomer, if when we say Yom Tekufa, Gomer, it just means it's the end of the previous season. So then, Bilav Hachinamilo, it's not going to help you. It's not going to work. Why? Because Leman Damar Kule Chag, if you hold, you need the whole Yontif to be the whole Chol Hamoed is going to be in the new season. So if our Yom Tekufa, which is going to be let's say the 16th day, is called Yom Tekufa, if that just means it's the end of the previous season, so then you still have the 17th. Then you're still going to be missing because you're going to have the 17th day of Tishrei be the first day of the new season, and then L'manamar Miktas Chagika below L'manamar Miktas Chagika, and it's not going to work for Rabbi Yossi either. If Yom Tekufa, if day 21 Yom Tekufa is really the last day of the previous season, so then you're also going to miss out, and you're going to have day 22, which is no longer Chol Hamoed, going to be the the beginning of the new season. So Ella, what they both must hold. Ella Kasavri, when we say Yom Tekufa, it's Maschil. It means it's the beginning, and therefore, as long as Yom Tekufa falls out on the 16th for Rabbi Yehuda and the 21st for Rabbi Yossi, there's no need to add a month of the year. But if Yom Tekufa is going to fall out on, let's say, the 17th or the 22nd, then there would be a reason to add a month to the year. Okay. Oh yeah, as the equinox. I don't know exactly all the details of the equinox, so I don't feel. Yeah, so I don't know all the details of equinox, but yeah. So let's see. So now we're gonna bring a long brisa, which is gonna ask two head-on collisions for Rabbi Yehuda. We made two assumptions for Rabbi Yehuda, who's we Shmuel. Shmuel made two assumptions for Rabbi Yehuda. First of all, that he needs that the whole Chol Hamoed be in the new season. Assumption number one. Assumption number two is he said for Rabbi Yehuda that the Yom Tekufa, I guess we can translate the day of the equinox, so has to be, when we say the day of the equinox, it means the day of the new season, not the finishing of the old season. Both of those are going to be questioned, then they're going to be answered, and then we're going to go through the whole brisa one by one with all the opinions. So let's wait up on the opinions till the next Amud. So let's see. Meisvei. First of all, Yom Tekufa Gomer, Div Rabbi Yehuda. That's one head-on collision. Yom Tekufa Gomer. We just said it had to be Yom Tekufa was Maskil, not Gomer. So that's one problem with Shmuel. He's against the brisa. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yom Tekufa Maskil. According to the brisa, it's a machlokas. When you say Yom Tekufa, do you mean it's the end of the previous season or the beginning of the new season? That's one kasha. The Od Tanya, another brisa is going to ask another kasha. And here we're going to have a lot of opinions. So, Ein ma'abrin es hashana ela imkein haisa tekuva chasera rubo shel chodesh. We do not add a month of the year unless the season is lacking rubo shel chodesh. And if it's taking up most of the month, meaning the summer season is going through most of Tishrei. Kama rubo shel chodesh. By the way, it's an interesting question. What's kama rubo shel chodesh? Like, well, we would have answered what? Maybe 15. Why not 15?
30.
Right. So it's interesting. I guess we're asking kama rubo shel chodesh, meaning you have two options to the answer: 15 and 16. Just interesting. Okay. The kama rubo shel chodesh, we say that's shisha asar. That's already continued because there's no month that's ever going to be 31, I guess. So 16 is a definite rove.
But
15 would be 50-50, yeah.
I think 16, you're guaranteed it's majority.
Right, versus 50.
30.
Right. Okay.
30 or 29.
So, but I'm saying the Gemara asked the question like kama rubo shel chodesh. The Gemara had it side it meant 15 and a little bit. It's just, I don't know.
30 other months is 20. 20.
Oh, you're saying, okay, just compared to the other one. Okay. So the kama rubo shel chodesh shisha asar yom, 16 days. That's the first. That's the Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda, the one who we're asking on, Omer shtei yados, 2 hands. Shtei yados b'chodesh. So here I understand the question. The kama shtei yados b'chodesh. What's 2 hands of the month? Chaf yom, meaning it sounds like each hand is right. Each hand is I mean 2 hands, whatever. Each hand is 10. So 2 hands means 20. So we see Rabbi Yehuda holds 20 days. It doesn't hold 16 days. So that's 2 kashas on Rabbi Yehuda. Now we're going to finish the brisa and come back and answer Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi Omer mechashvin shisha asar. Okay, so now Rabbi Yossi says mechashvin. We're going to ask Rabbi Yossi at the end of the next Talmud. Mechashvin shisha asar lifnei haPesach. So now Rabbi Yossi says like this: if it comes out that the spring season, so to speak, is going to be 16 days before Pesach. Mechashin shisha asar lifnei Pesach. Then ma'abrim, meaning the tekufas teves, we'll call it the spring season. Let's say that's lacking 16 days, and the beginning of the end of the winter season, and the beginning of the spring season falls out on the 17th of Nisan. So Rashi here goes through the whole calculation with each season being 91 days, and with each month, how much each month is. But basically, if you have that the beginning of the spring season is going to start too late into Nisan, what's going to happen is it's going to come and affect Tishrei. So if the Tekufas Teves, the winter season, is lacking 16 days, which means that the spring season is going to start on the 17th of Nisan, and each season is 91 and a little bit days. And Rashi goes through each month being Chasar and Mali being a full month and a shorter month. At the end of the day, what's going to happen? It's going to come out that Tekufas Tishrei is going to come out on the 22nd day. So you're going to have the 22nd day of Tishrei be the beginning of the new Tekufa, and that's not going to work for anybody. Okay, we'll get back to that. So now, Rabbi Yossi over Mechash and Shisha Asar Lifnei Pesach Ma'abrin. So now, Shisha Asar Lifnei Chag Ein Ma'abrin. But just if it's 16 days, right, before Sukkot, meaning it's 16 days into Sukkot, and then the first day of the new season is the 17th, so that's fine. That doesn't bother us because Rabbi Yossi holds as long as one day Chol Hamoed is there, we're good to go. So that is Rabbi Yossi. Acherim Omers, we have sorry, that was Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Shimon Omer Av Shisha Sar Lifnei Chag Ma'abrin. Rabbi Shimon holds interesting that even if it's 16 days into Tishrei, which would mean that the first day, the 17th day of Tishrei is the beginning of the month, the 17th of Tishrei is the beginning of the season, he holds, then we would be Ma'abrin. Yeah. Okay. So now, so the 17th can't be the beginning of the new season. That can't be when the new season starts. That's Ma'abrin. Acheir, I think it's the fourth opinion. Maybe no, we have Tanakam, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi. That's three. Rabbi Shimon is four. Acheir, fifth opinion. Acheirim omrim miuto. Vekama miuto arba asar yom. Acheirim hold, and we're going to explain the reason later, that even the first day of Sukkot, you need the first day, which is Yontif. The first day has to be in the new season. They're going to learn the pasuk Chag Asif a little bit differently, and therefore they need that the 15th day of Tishrei is the beginning of the new season. So all of this was, we had brought this to ask two questions on Rabbi Yehuda, and at the end of the day, it's a question. The Gemara says Kasha. You're right, Kasha. We end off with a difficulty on Rabbi Yehuda. Now we're going to go back through the whole brisa. So let's go. Amar Mar, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says Shtei Yados B'Chodesh is Esrim Yom. Rabbi Yehuda says that it's 20 days. We need to have at least one day of Chol HaMoed. Right, this is a kasha on the previous Rabbi Yehuda, but to be okay, if there's not even a day of Chol HaMoed, so then we have to make it a leap year. Rabbi Yossi Omer Mechashvin Shisha Asar Yom Lefnei Pesach. Then Ma'abrin says Rabbi Yossi that we look at Pesach and we say, if the new season, the spring season, the first day of the spring season is going to be on the 17th of Nisan, so then it's going to come out that Tishrei is going to be on the 22nd of Tishrei is going to be the beginning of the new season, and you won't even have one day of Chol HaMoed. So this Rabbi Yossi sounds like the same as Rabbi Yehuda. They're both worried about that they need one day of Chol HaMoed, and they're both saying the same thing in different words. One says Shtei Yados, and one says 16 days before Pesach. At the end of the day, they both need that at least day 21 should be the new season, and if day 22 is the new season, so then you have to make it a leap year. So what's the difference between Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda? So that's that. Hainu Rabbi Yehuda. So we say no. Yom Tekufa Gomer, Yom Tekufa Maschil, Ika Benayu. They argue about when we say this word Yom Tekufa, does that mean it's the beginning, or does that mean it is the end? Meaning, is Yom Tekufa the end of the previous season, or Yom Tekufa is the beginning of the next season? So Rashi on the next Amud, he fills us in. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Yom Tekufa is Gomer. When you say Yom Tekufa, it means it's the last day of the previous season. And that's why he says Shtei Yados. He needs 20 days, because then if day 21, which is the Yom Tekufa, he has to make the year a leap year. Why? Because he learns that if day 21 is Yom Tekufa, that just means it's the end of the previous season. That's Rabbi Yehuda. But according to Rabbi Yossi, Yom Tekufa is the beginning. And therefore, if it falls out on day 21, the Yom Tekufa, then you're good to go. If Yom Tekufa falls out on day 22, since Yom Tekufa means the beginning of the next season, then you have to make it a leap year. So that's the difference about how they understand what this word Yom Tekufa means. Fine. Next opinion in the Brisa. Amar Mar Shisha Sar Lefnei Chag HaChag Ein Ma'abrin. So now we're going to have a self-contradiction between Rabbi Yossi and himself. So now, Rabbi Yossi on the one hand says that 16 days, if Pesach, if the 17th of Nisan is the beginning of the spring season, you're going to come out that the 22nd of Tishrei is going to be the beginning of the Tishrei season, and that can't be. However, if even one day earlier, so 15, if Nisan comes out, if the 16th day of Nisan is the first of the spring season, then the 21st of Tishrei is going to be the beginning of the wintry season, and that's great. So now, according to that, Amar Mar Shisha Sar Lom Lefnei Chag Ein Ma'abrin. So now, Elul Rabbi Yossi Shisha Sar Lefnei Chag Hu Delo. It's only 16 days before Pesach, meaning it's only when the 16th day of Nisan is the beginning of the new season, do we say you don't make it a leap year. But if it was the 17th day or B'Tinasar, then you would make it a leap year, because you need at least one day of Tishrei, of Sukkot, to be in the new season. Okay. But V'ha'amar Shisha Asar Lifnei Pesach, but you yourself said, sorry, Ela Rabbi Yossi, just go back for a second. Shisha Asar Lifnei Chag Hudelo. Rabbi Yossi says in that same brisa that if if the 16th day of Tishrei is the beginning of the new season, you're good to go. But Hashivsar, V'tinasar, but if it's the 17th or 18th, then you have to be Ma'aber. It sounds like Rabbi Yossi needs all of Chol HaMoed to be in the new season. The Ha'amar, you Rabbi Yossi yourself said, Shisha Salaf Pesach in Batzir Lo, that if Nisan, the 16th day of Nisan, comes out the beginning of the spring season, so then it's going to work. Then you'll have the 21st of Tishrei be the beginning of the Tishrei season. Then that's good. So, but less than that, Batzir Lo, it sounds like, on the one hand, you said if the 16th of Tishrei is the beginning of the new season, you're good to go. You also said if the 21st of Tishrei is the beginning of the Tishrei season, then you're also good to go. So, do you need one day of Chol HaMoed, or do you need the whole Chol HaMoed? You Rabbi Yossi, are not clear. You seem to contradict yourself. So, we say like this: Lo idi v'idi ein ma'abrin. The idea the Tana Reisha Shisha Lifnei Pesach, Tananami Shisha Asar Lifnei Hachag. Really, according to Rabbi Yossi, you just need one day of Chol HaMoed. The reason why he said 16 days before Sukkot was because the ratio of the brisa was talking about, he mentioned 16 days before Pesach. So the end of that brisa, he also mentioned the 16 days before Sukkot, but he really just needs one day of Chol HaMoed to be in the new season of Tishrei, and therefore you're good to go. Okay. Second to last line, Yud Gimel Aleph. The next opinion in that brisa was Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon Omer, Av Shish Asar Lifnei Hachag Ma'abrin. So, Reb Shimon is the one who said, Shisha Asar Lifnei Hachag Ma'abrin, meaning if the 16th of Tishrei is the first day of the new season. Sorry, if the 17th of Tishrei is the beginning of the new season, meaning it ran into it 16 days, and now the 17th day is the beginning of the new season, so then you have to make it a leap year, because you need the 16th day of Tishrei, the first day of Chol HaMoed, Sukkot, to fall out in the new season. So says the Gemara, Haim Tanakama. You and the Tanakama are exact same. You both need that the whole Chol HaMoed has to be in the new season. So says the Gemara on the next page, Ike beinayu yom tkufa maschil v'yom tkufa gomer v'loy mesaiming. So the nafka mina between Reb Shimon and Tanakama is when you refer to the day of the equinox, the yom tekufa. Does that mean the end of the previous season, or does it mean the first day of the new season? And the Gemara says, and we don't know who said what. We know one of them holds Yom Tekufa means the beginning of the new season. The day of the equinox is referring to the beginning, and one of them says referring to the end, but we don't know who said what.
See, by us, it's not a day, the moment. They say it's the actual moment that the winter starts today at 2:37 in the afternoon, because that's when the planets, the Earth is at that point in the orbit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Acherim Omrim, the last opinion in the Brisa was Acherim. Acherim Omrim Miuto. So now, the Kama Miuto are Ba'asar. They need, interesting opinion, if it runs into Tishrei 14 days, so then you're still good. If it runs in more than 14 days, which would then cause the, even if the 16th day of Tishrei is the beginning of the new season, that's not good enough. You need the 15th day to be the beginning of the new season. So now, on that we ask, Mai Kasavri. So now, I Kasavri Yom Tekufa is Gomer. Yom Tekufa just means the end of the previous season, and therefore, V'kulei Chag Be'inon, and therefore you need the entire Chol HaMoed to be in the V'kulei Chag, you need the whole Yom Tov itself. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the same as we had said before.
Right. So it has to be that, right?
How else would you get the 14?
1 second. Yeah. So now, if you hold that they need the whole Yom Tov to be there, so then we say, so once again, Acher Omer Miuto, the Kama Miuto are Basar. It can only run into 14 days into Tishrei. The second it's more than that, if it's the 15th day, if it runs in the old season, runs in 15 days into Tishrei, you have to make it a leap year. Okay. So my Ikasavri, Yom Tekufa Gomer, V'Kulei Chag V'inon, but how could that be? Ha'ik Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak, Acherim B'Tkufas Nisan Kaimi. Acherim are actually talking about the Tekufa of Nisan. Now you need the Tekufa of Nisan and Pesach to match up. Why? Dichsiv Shomer es Chodesh Aviv. So how do they interpret this? Shomer Aviv Shel Tekufa Sheyehei b'Chodesh Nisan. They need that the 15th of Nisan falls out. So Shomer Tekufas Nisan. You have to guard the season of Nisan, right, which is 91 and a little bit. You have to guard the solar season, and it should be within the renewal of the moon. So now, you should make sure that Chodesh Nisan is going to fall out when the moon is still being renewed, which is going to be in the first 14 days of the month. Yeah. So you need that Nisan, that the solar season of Nisan should be at some point in the first 14 days of Chodesh Nisan. And how many days is the moon in its renewal state? It's going to be Yud Daled Yamim. So if you have a Tekufa of Nisan starting on the 15th, then it's no good. You need Tekufa Sanisan to be in the first 14 days of the month of Nisan. That's what it means. Shomer Ha'aviv Shel Tekufa Shehei b'Chodesh Nisan. You should guard the Aviv Shel Tekufa. That Tekufa of Aviv should be b'Chodesh Nisan, means b'Chidusho Shel Nisan. B'Chidusho Halavana Shel Nisan. In the renewal of the moon, which is the first 14 days. Now, on that we're asking, this is similar to before, why don't you just add a day? Says the Gemara, instead of making Adar 29 days, la'abre la'adar. You can make Adar, add a day to Adar, and it'll be 30 days. And therefore, you're going to push everything off by a day. And therefore, your season will be good. It'll still be in the first 14 days of Nisan, and there's no need to add a whole extra month to the year. So, Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, no. When it said Mi'uta Shel Chodesh, it's going the other way. Tana Mila Mala Lamata, it's going from up to down, meaning Kachashiv, like this. V'hachi Kamer Ad Mi'uto Ma'abrin. Until Mi'uto, you're Ma'abrin. V'kama Mi'uto, Arba Asar Yom. So what it means is that until there's 14 days left of the month, then you're Ma'aber. Not that you need it to match up with the 15th day of Nisan, but rather as soon as you have only 14 days left, meaning if it's going to fall out on the 16th, so then you're going to have to add a year. Now, 1 second. Yeah, so now we're really learning it. It's going back. Yeah. So now, as long as Kufas Nisan falls out on the 15th, you're good to go. But the second is going to fall out on the 16th. So then, if it falls on the 16th, so then you only have 14 days left, and then you're going to have to add a month. Yeah. So as soon as Nisan, the 16th of Nisan falls out, if that's the beginning of the season of Nisan, then we have to be Ma'aber. But if you're only lacking 14 days, and then you still have 15 days left, so then Ein Ma'abrin. Okay. Ravina Omar, no. La'olam Acherim b'Tishrei Kaimi. Really, the Acherim are going in Tishrei, not in Nisan Kaimi. So what do they mean? Why do you need to have all the 15th of Tishrei also be it has to be in the Tekufa of Tishrei. V'kasavri achirim kulei chag be'inon. V'yom tom rishon. V'yom tom rishon. Why? Yom tom rishon chag ha'asif ksiv. It says chag ha'asif, chag haba bizman asifa. That's the way we probably know it. You need sukkahs to come. The whole sukkahs has to come at the time of gathering.
Even though you can't do the asifa.
Even though you can't do the asifa. Yeah, so two pshatim. Either you have to do the asifa, or it means it comes in the time of the asifa. But that's what the achirim learn, and therefore you need the 15th day of Tishrei to be the first day of the new season. Okay, we survived. Next part of the Mishnah, smicha zakenim. When the zakenim they made a mistake in a halacha, they have to bring a par helim davar. It's called. So that needs smichas zakenim. That needs a zakenim to put their hands on the par helim davar shel tzibur. So once again, the Sanhedrin Gdola made a mistake they passed it incorrectly on something, and now I think it's something which is you might be chayav kares if you do it on purpose. So now they have to bring this par helam davar. They have to have 3 zakenim, right? 3 zakenim, yeah, 3 zakenim, according to Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Dovid says 5 to put your hands on that. Now, Tana Rabbanan v'samchu ziknei. So it says, the pasuk says in Vayikra Dalet v'samchu ziknei ha'eda. So what's this word ha'eda? V'samchu ziknei. You would have thought if you didn't have Ada, what would you have thought? Yachol ziknei hashuk. And he's zakenim Talmud lomar Ada. It tells you Ada. No, Ada here means chashava zakenim, meaning from the Sanhedrin. Ada, if it just said Ada and not ha'eda, Yochol katne ha'eda, even from the Sanhedrin Tana, and not from who's the Ada, with the hey idea, the Ada, that's referring to the Sanhedrin Agdola. Ada, Yochol Ada Tana, Tamloma ha'eda. What's ha'eda? Miyuchadim shebe'eda. The most unique, the most special, the most prominent of the Sanhedrins is the Sanhedrin Agdola. So now you need people from the Sanhedrin Agdola. The Kamahain, how many do you need? The Samchu, Shnaim, that's 2. They should place their hands as 2. Ziknei, from the elders, Shnaim, that's 2. And we know the rule. The Ein Bezdin Shakel, Mosif and Alam Od Echad. You can't have an even Bezdin. You need to add one. Now, this is very interesting because
4.
What?
You have 4.
We add 1. You can have
5.
So that's what you're saying. We need 5, according to that opinion. Harei kan chamisha, divrei Rabbi Yehuda. It's interesting though because the reason why you can't have an even bezdin is because when you're making a decision, you can't come out 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. Here you're placing your hands on the egla rufa. What's wrong with 4? I don't know. Yeah, what's wrong with that? So you have 4 people. What's wrong? No, ain't bezdin chuckle. Apparently, even though that was the reason for the rule that you need to have an uneven amount to come to a decision, it sounds like once that was the reason, every bezdin now is going to follow that rule. And something like that you have to say. I don't know. So that's an interesting question. Harei kan chamish de Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Omer, ziknei shnayim. So now they're going to go back and forth, learning the psukim differently. Ziknei shnayim. That's it. Two elders. That's it. The ein bezdin shakel masif aleim od echad. And what do you get? Harei kan shlosha. You have 3 people. Now, Rabbi Shimon, what do you mean of a haksiv v'samchu? It says v'samchu, which your counterpart Rabbi Yehuda learned out 2 more people from. Why don't you learn that? Hahumi baile the gufei. I need it for itself. I need just to teach you that you have to do smicha. It's not open for me to interpret. You need 2 people. I need it for itself. So all I'm left with is ziknei, which is 2. That's so good. What about Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda legufei lo tzarich. Why? Dim kain de lo asi. Rabbi Yehuda legufei lo tzarich. Why? The im kain because de lo asi v'samchu ledrasha lichtov ziknei eida yidei arosh apar. It could just say the elder should put their hands on the head, and I'll know it means smicha. What else does it mean? Tickle its ears? I'm saying, what else does it mean on the animal? It obviously means smicha. So I don't need this samchu to teach you. I have to do smicha. Okay. Now Reb Shimon, who says, I need the samchu to teach you smicha. So why isn't he like Rabbi Yehuda? Take out the samchu, and the pasuk will read just fine. Ik siv hachi havamina mai al. When you put your hands on, you would think it means besamuch. It would be next to the head, not on the head, next to the head. Therefore, I need v'samcha to teach you. No, it has to be on the head. Lean your hands on its head. Rabbi Yehuda, what does Rabbi Yehuda hold? He doesn't have this samuchu to teach you that because he needs it for itself. He learns Gamar Rosh Ma'ola from the Korban Ola. Reb Shimon Lo Gamar Rosh Ma'ola, and Reb Shimon doesn't have that Gzeira Shava. It could be, by the way, because there's a machlokas Rashi and Tosas from Sukkah. If you need all of the Yud Gimel Midos that we say from Rabbi Shmuel Omer, if you need a Mesorah from your Rebbe for all of them, so one opinion Rishon holds it's only for Gzeira Shava you have to have a Mesorah from your Rebbe. So it could be that Rabbi Shimon never had that Mesorah. Not that he argues on the Gzeira Shava, but you have to have a Mesorah from your Rebbe. There's a machlokas. Do you need that for every other of the Yud Gimel? I think it's a machlokas Rashi. I forget who says what, Rashi and Tosas, but that could be why he doesn't hold of it. That he never learned that from his Rebbe that we have such a Mesorah. Okay, Tana. 1 minute to go. The smicha, smichas zekenim b'shlosha. There's something called smicha, and there's something called smicha zekenim b'shlosha. Ma'i smicha. What smicha? Ma'i smicha zekenim. And what smicha zekenim? Amar Rabbi Yochanan mismach sabe. Smicha is referring to when you call someone Rebbe, you call him Rabbi. Smicha means you agree. You have a haskama that he could be one who can answer questions. By the Rabbi Yosef, mismach sabi b'shlosha. You have to have 3 people to come to an agreement that this person is one who could be called Rebbe. And we'll continue from here tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be on Zoom. Tomorrow and Tuesday I'll be on Zoom. And no, what day is today? Monday. Tomorrow and Wednesday I'll be on Zoom, and then I'll back Thursday in person.
Yasher Koach.